Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted, with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Hi, Michael C. MacDonald. Welcome to Savvy. We are so grateful to have you here for Unleash Your Story podcast, a new series in our list of podcasts here where we bring inspirational stories to help people grow and expand to their fullest potential. And boy, have you done that in your lifetime, not only being top in the world of games and sports, but then taking it into the boardroom and kicking butt there. So we're so grateful to have you here. How are you?
Oh, very well. It's great to be here, Christina. Thank you for having me on your show.
You betcha. You betcha. And we're here also to talk about your new book, From the Bench to the Boardroom. I love it. Understanding from Underdog Athlete to Turnaround CEO. I know you're going to be inspirational. Now, what was the impetus for you starting and writing your book?
Well, I wanted to write a book because I had reached a point where I was retiring from Medifast at the time. I retired as chairman in December. And I started to write the book last May because I wanted to write a book for anybody who's a student in high school who's played any sport and maybe wasn't the star, wasn't the best player, and worked hard and was a good teammate and learned a lot of good traits, perseverance and hard work and dedication. And how those things, even though you may not be the star player or ever the star player, can really help you develop and allow you to develop traits that are unbelievably important as you go into your business career. And I think that's really what I wanted to do, because I grew up in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, and my father was a cab driver and truck driver and never graduated college, and my mother was a Roxyette. She was a professional dancer. And basically, I came from 7 children and not a lot of money. And I think that sports was a big catalyst for me to help springboard eventually my college career and then success in business.
Yeah. And Medifast, that's a weight loss product company, right?
Yes, Medifast has a large network of over 50,000 health coaches throughout the United States, and it's Optavia is the name of our coaching network and the products, and really is a whole focus on healthy lifestyle and making sure that you're doing the right things in terms of your diet. And our meal replacement products are extremely powerful within a wonderful system that Dr. Wayne Anderson, Dan Bell, and other people within the Optavia network have helped develop over many years. And it's been unbelievably successful.
That is so great. One thing that you often hear people say at the start of the year, oh, I'm going to have these resolutions. I'm going to lose weight. Oh, beach time. I'm going to get the beach body. But really, it's more about not the beach body or the New Year's resolution, but building a lifestyle of health and wellness, so that going and getting older, that you can live to your fullest potential.
Yes, it is about that. And our network really does focus on really health and wellness and making sure that you have long-term success. Because many people who use weight loss products do it for 90 days and then they lose some weight and then they gain it back again. And they go back and forth constantly battling the issue. But what we've found is that in our Optavia coaching system, they do a terrific job of helping people create a long-term healthy lifestyle. And I think that's very, very important in the weight loss world.
Absolutely. And, this brings me, when you started the interview and you said that, you might have not been the top star athlete, but it doesn't mean that with perseverance, hard work, dedication, and focus that you can't be your best at whatever you do. And I love that, because I remember going to see a play off Broadway about Maria Callas, and famous opera singer, but I don't know how true it was, but within this off-Broadway show, the character playing Maria Callas said, I might not be the most talented, but it's not about talent. It's about really building your skill and your performance to your absolute best potential. Because you could have all the talent in the world, if you don't use it or grow it, you're just sitting on it.
Well, I think that that's very important. When I played basketball, I was cut my first 2 years of high school, made the JV in my junior year. Then I got a scholarship after having one good year as a senior to Rutgers University. And then even at Rutgers, I played as a freshman and sophomore, but I sat the bench as a junior and senior. And then I went into coaching with Jim Valvano, who taught me a lot about sales and motivation. But the thing I realized was in sports, it's about who can run the fastest, jump the highest, and all these different physical skills. Well, in business, there's no limitations. If you work hard and you're dedicated, you learn from other people. You try to learn everything from the companies you're involved with, and you try to develop yourself. There's no limitation because it's you, it's yourself, your level of intelligence. And by the way, you don't have to be an A student or go to Princeton or Harvard or any of those places. You can be an above average student and apply yourself, and anybody can succeed. And I think that's the important thing to understand. I mean, I managed many Ivy Leaguers when I was at Xerox. I had an organization of 52,000 employees. And, they were very smart, very, very bright. But guess what? There were many people throughout the company who had developed and been successful from schools all over the United States.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important thing, that everybody has an opportunity.
See, that's one of the reasons I love this topic and I started the show, is that business is probably one of my absolute favorite topics, because it doesn't matter who you are. And we had a guest a couple of years ago who had a number of jobs throughout his life, but he always had side hustles that he grew into small businesses. Because he said, so you have a job, there's no reason on the weekend you can't have a side hustle and grow yourself in different ways, and make it a business. And I love the fact that, through the growing of your skills and talents, that you can give to the world, and there is no off button. You can continue to find different ways to explore and grow.
Well, I think one of the most important things is lifetime learning. You never stop learning in your life. And if you listen and pay attention to people and try to go to as many courses as you can, try to learn as much as you can, you can just get better and better. And you even look at, if you look at the Optavia group within Medifast, they're independent contractors, and many have had tremendous success developing their business. First, they start as users of Optavia products, and then they become a health coach. And then after being a health coach, they go on and develop rather large scale independent businesses, helping coach people to better health. And I think, there's many things that people can do to be successful in life. And I think that's one of the things I wanted to do in the book, was really to allow young people, college students, kids who are coming out of school, to realize that the opportunities are endless for you. And the only thing that can stop you is yourself. And if you focus, you can really do well.
Yeah, I totally love that, Michael. One thing I've gotten from people is that, oh, I can't wait to be done and reach the pinnacle of success that I can do. I'm done. I'm like, done with what? Life? Because I don't know about you, but the idea of retirement or being done means I get to just die. And I kind of like, when I'm on this planet and it's a very short time, I really want to continue to grow to my fullest potential and not stop. Like, okay, I'm done with this project, got as much as I can out of it, learned. What else can I learn? And
I think that's important. One of the things I'm doing with this book is I'm on the board of the Jimmy V Foundation for Cancer Research, and all of my profits from the bench of the boardroom are going to children's pediatric cancer. And that was one of the other reasons I wanted to write the book, was to raise money for cancer research. So I'm retired from the business world, but I'm focused on how I can help this charity raise more and more money and be one of the best cancer foundations in the country. And I think everybody has to have a passion. And I think my passion for 42 years was Xerox and Office Max and Medifast and lots of businesses. But now my passion is really, hey, how do I focus on helping people beat cancer, and at the same time spending a lot of time with my family and my grandchildren and everybody else that I'm around. But I think it's important to have a focus.
Yeah. And what's interesting is not only a focus, but you said you wrote the book for students or people coming out of college or high school. And the idea is, when we tell our kids, okay, you're going to go get a job, maybe or maybe not, but you're going to reach this pinnacle of success. And that idea of just reaching one pinnacle goal just kind of limits what I think is interesting about your book is you really want to open the world of curiosity. That it's not just ending with one thing. It's like, okay, you've completed one thing, great, you have it under your belt, you learned something. What else can you contribute? What else can you grow and learn from in life?
Well, I think that's important. When I was in the technology business with Xerox. I was in Office Max. Then I went to the diet and consumer products business. I had to learn all these different businesses, and I was able to do that. And and one of the things I also think is very important is don't go about it with a big ego. People, what you want to do when you're younger and you approach things, learn. Don't let your ego get out in front of you. And make sure that you're humble and you treat everybody the right way. One of the things I learned in sports was how you treated your teammates, how you treated your coaches, how you treated the different alumni and the various people. That all came back to benefit you. I remember when I was getting out of Iona, I was going to get married, and I got offers from IBM and Procter & Gamble, but I wanted to work in New Jersey where my wife was. I called a guy at Rutgers. He says, Mike, I know a guy at Xerox. I'll get you an interview. And the reason I got the interview was I treated people the right way, and didn't come about it as with arrogance. And I think one of the things that's important for young people is be yourself, be genuine, and go out there. And I think that kind of approach will really work well for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, as you go out there and you treat people with authentically as yourself, not trying to be someone else, but with humility and what can I learn, and generosity is what I'm getting from you, that you gave with a pure heart, not like, what can I get out of you? And it comes back, because one thing I've gotten from businesses, they always talk about, oh, customer. We got to take care of our customer. But often what's missed is taking care of the employees, because you take care of the employees.
Exactly. One of the things I learned from Ann Mulcahy, who was a great woman CEO at Xerox, who I worked for 10 years. And Ann was very talented, and she led our turnaround back in the early 2000s. And the thing that Ann had was a great touch with people. She spent a lot of time traveling all over the country and all over the world, talking to her employees and caring about the people and making sure you had a good culture. And I think any organization that's good creates a culture. And by the way, a culture of inclusion. When I ran Xerox, I had tremendous senior leaders who were minorities and Hispanics who did a terrific job. And we made sure that our culture was inclusive. And I always realized that the more people you have that have different types of backgrounds, the more successful your team's going to be, because they're going to give you all varying feedback that comes from where they came from, and everybody's different. If everybody's the same, you're not going to get a good result. So it's kind of boring. So I believe reaching out and having inclusion and having people from everywhere as part of your team is an important thing.
Yeah. Do you recall, I don't know if you watched it, Next Generation, Captain Picard? What I was really impressed about in his leadership skills is the coming together. It's kind of like a boardroom meeting he would have with all his senior staff, sitting down. What is your perspective on this issue? And he would really hear them out. It mattered what each of their points of view were. Now, he's the captain. He would make the final call, but he would really weigh in on each of their point of view. And that's so important. If you're a kind of dictator in your business, you're not going to get very far. And I've met those CEOs. They're like, oh, my way or it's the highway. And
no, those days are over. By the way, nobody wants to work for people like that. I mean, think about it. You or me, I love working for Ann when I did, because she would outline what my goals were and what the objectives were, but she'd let me figure out how to get there. And then she'd be there to help me out, but she wasn't telling me what to do every day.
Yeah.
And I think what you want to work for are leaders who set the direction, who hold you accountable. And by the way, don't mistake certain things. In business, you got to be careful and understand the difference between what you consider working and results and performance. Some people will go to work every day and spend 8 hours, think they're working, but they could be working on all the wrong things and not getting the results. So if your goal is $1 million in sales and you're not doing things that are going to get you to the $1 million, you're doing the wrong things. So I think one of the things that's important is really focusing on not activities, but really the right things to drive to achieve your performance. And by the way you do that is by creating really strong teams. Yeah. If you're a high-level executive or a CEO, you got to have really good teams. You have to have good balance on your teams. You have to really hold them accountable. but you have to also recognize them, treat them right, make sure you have the right kind of behaviors. One of the things that I always tried to do was treat people the way I wanted to be treated.
Yeah.
And I think that's important at a high level.
Yeah, you're so right, Michael. I recall one of my best bosses, and at the time when I worked with him, I was very young. I didn't like the fact that he would bring us to the table and hold us accountable. We had issues. We'd come once a week for a meeting. What are your issues? Boom. What are your solutions, Christina? What solution? Nope. You have a problem. Tell me your solutions. A, B, C, D. What do you plan to do? And then he'd listen through. Go with C for now, and let me know how that works out. But what I liked is it gave me autonomy and helped me grow as a person, in business, to feel confident in myself, that I could make decisions, that I could reach my results.
Well, you want to make people feel empowered. I mean, empowerment to me is one of the most important things to have an employee feel. If they feel they're accountable, they're going to take personal responsibility, and they're a part of the team. And by the way, then you're going to thank them and recognize them for when they do it. And by the way, the other thing you have to do is allow people to make mistakes. Nobody is not going to make mistakes. I've made lots of mistakes. And there are times, I remember one time I blew an outlook at Xerox, and when I blew it, the U.S. affected the market, affected our stock price. And I called Ann one day and I said, Ann, we made an error of $10 million. We were off, and it was a big deal. And you know what? She said to me, Mike, I appreciate all your hard work. You haven't done it in the past. Don't do it again. And that was it. But you know what? It's important to, one, you're going to make mistakes, but secondly, you got to admit it when you make a mistake. And then you got to say, how am I going to fix it going forward in the future? So you try not to do it again. But that's part of the learning process. And I think that, you want to have people who aren't afraid to take risks, because if you take risks, you're going to make some mistakes. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather have the person who's willing to get out there a little bit and step out there and try things than the person who's always going to try to be perfect, because there's no perfects out there.
Exactly. And to be that boss, CEO, business owner that allows your people to feel okay with taking risks, but okay to come forward when they screw up. Because I've had bosses who are like, okay, just tell me what you did, take responsibility for it. Boom. What are we going to do? We'll fix it. Go forward. Boom.
Right. Yeah. No, it's very, very true.
Yeah. Well, I do not. This has been a fabulous conversation. We could go on a long time, I know, with all the wisdom you have, but I don't want us to leave without everyone finding out how they can get their very own copy of From the Bench to the Boardroom. How do they do that?
No, it's on Amazon. Came out on May the 25th. And as I said, all my proceeds are going to children's pediatric cancer. So my goal is to raise as much money for cancer as I can. But more importantly, I'd like to help more young people through my experiences and what I've been through, learn a little bit how they can make that transition from all the good things they did in athletics when they were young to transitioning that to a very, very successful business career. And I think a lot of people can do that.
They certainly can. Now, just to make sure, do you have a website as well or no?
No, I don't have a website. No.
All right, just checking. All right. Well, I just have to thank you again, Michael C. MacDonald, for sharing your great wisdom today and for all the wonderful work you're doing, for writing this book and giving to cancer charity. We want to kick butt to cancer. It affects so many people in this world. I mean, I knew I knew 8 people in my family in 1 year who got diagnosed with cancer. So it affects everyone. So thank you for your work, Michael.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much, Christina. Thanks for the interview.
You betcha. Thanks for coming to Savvy.
Yep. Take care. Bye-bye.
Like, subscribe, and share this episode. To listen to more Savvy episodes and Savvy Biz Tips, go to www.lifeunscriptedradio.com. To find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest, email Christina at lifeunscriptedradio.com.